Say hello to my little friends.
These are bigger friends, though. Hey guys, welcome to 6 Steps. No, what was it called?
6 goals machine part upgrades.
No, Pink Joseph is way cooler. This is the intro to our video. Hey guys, this is going to be 6 machine part upgrades that you can get for your blasters. We're going to be talking about some upgrades you may have seen in the past, talking about some improvements we made on those. We're talking about machined internals, from plungers to rams, from air seals to barrels of all types, shapes, and sizes, and also how to increase the durability of your blaster. These are all the machine parts that we have. We're going to show you a couple in this video. They're made here in-house. We have a CNC lathe. We also have a mill and a router and some other cool toys that we use to make these parts. And a lot of these parts increase your durability, and some of them increase your performance as far as your air seal, dart barrel fit. We've got brass barrels, and we have acetal and aluminum. Basically, if you want to squeeze a little more performance or durability out of your blaster, these parts should help a lot. So, parts. Part number 1. This is the original brass barrel that we came up with 3 or 4 years ago. You may have heard about in Bradley Phillips' video. However, we've kind of tinkered around with the Ramcore design and the barrel design and found that you can use a aluminum ram core with a black brass barrel to get the same performance or very similar performance, but you get more reliability because the ram is aluminum and not brass. So if you want to get the kind of the best balance of power and reliability air blaster, aluminum ram with brass barrel is the way to go. The brass barrel setup gets you better performance than an aluminum barrel because it is much smoother bore, higher quality inside, and you can also lemon pledge or polish the inside of your barrel for even less friction as well. Brass is typically well known for its low friction coefficient, and so it is used in a lot of applications where you have rubbing that you don't want your parts to wear. That was part number 1. Part number 2 is the aluminum coupler inserts and or the P-cap plate. Now, the coupler inserts you may have seen from Captain Slug, and what these do is they reinforce the middle of your caliber. You see a lot of breakages on the Milan coupler here, and the aluminum coupler insert takes the force off of the printed part and onto the metal pins and onto the aluminum inserts, so you get increased durability from the aluminum coupler inserts. The P-cap plate does a similar thing, but for the U-series blasters, it sits in the middle of your mag back and your P-cap, so we call it the P-cap plate. Now this is something that we came up with before the single piece mag back, which combined the P-cap plate and the mag back, which was a little bit stronger of a print. However, you may have seen still that some of those break mostly across the middle here or under the U-channels here. So the P-cap plate helps to, it actually sits in front of the ram where the force is, and so it impacts this metal plate and distributes the force instead of having the force be on the printed part. So with that P-cap plate, since I've released it, I haven't actually had a problem with the breakages on these at all. So you could dry fire these and it doesn't break. So if you want greater reliability and durability of our blasters, either the Caliburn or the U-series blasters, P-cap plate, here is one on a U-bolt pump as well. Original design by Captain Slug. Part number 3 is the acetal or aluminum upgrades you can get for your sear, trigger, ram, and plunger. Now, the big difference that these make is that a lot of people have sears wearing out or warping, especially in the sun. So a lot of the Caliburns use a sear feature that holds back the weight of the plunger, but that can wear out because you have a lot of force on it. So the aluminum sear makes it so that can't wear out, and especially if you leave your blaster maybe primed or in the sun, if that sear warps, then you're kind of hosed because a warped sear is not a good sear. Now the trigger is mostly cosmetic, just because it matches the sear, looks pretty nice. So it's pretty cosmetic upgrade you can get for your trigger. As for the plunger and ram, that is where the performance boost comes from. Here's a caliber I'm holding. This is a default caliber made a couple of years ago, but it has a default printed plunger that's a bit old, and it has a ram with an aluminum core. Again, Rambase is printed and a bit old, and after playing with it, even with the get O-rings and the seal, it doesn't have much it doesn't stop when you fire it. So that's called a dry fire test or a seal test, where you plug the barrel and it should stop, and it doesn't. So if you swap those parts, the printed plunger for an acetal or an aluminum plunger, and you swap your ram with one with a machine ram base and an O-ring on the ram tip, then you get something a little more like this. This is where we do a time lapse. It's a way better air seal. And that is from a aluminum plunger with an aluminum ram base with an O-ring notch on the ram tip. And this barrel is an aluminum brass hybrid barrel, which is coming soon. But you can see the air seal is a big improvement. If you want maximum performance though, I recommend an acetal plunger, because it doesn't have as much weight as aluminum, so it travels a bit faster. But you still get the same air seal because these are made to the same specifications. As for the ram, acetal will do just fine as well. But since it's not moving, aluminum will give you a bit more durability in case you're worried about it wearing out. However, acetal solves a lot of other problems, because the original ram bases, if they're printed like this one, then you can kind of eventually, as it wears out, you can get some droop in it. So then the ram will be pointed down and it won't go through the barrel. And so a machined ram base improves your reliability because it doesn't have the tendency to loosen up. The threads are tapped into the base, so the screw has a definite surface to bite into and it stays up. And if you have the aluminum base, you can then use thread lock on top of that, so the screws will stay in the machine bases better, keep it straight, meaning you'll have much more reliability. So if you're noticing that your ram is drooping a lot, maybe upgrade your base would help. That's just fun. Part number 4. This is a barrel. What is different from this barrel to the other barrel? They're pretty much the same, except for where it counts. So this is a normal 527 barrel, and it is held on by just a normal clamp mechanism here. So if you unscrew it, just slides out. But if you wanted to use a different barrel, you'd have to have one about the same size. Now, we also have barrels in a different inner diameter, which means a tighter fit for your dart, because a lot of darts have a loose fit in a 527. You may have heard of that as well. When you fire a blaster, you tip your blaster down and the dart falls out the front, and that's not very helpful. So a default barrel in the caliber and Talon Claw, or most homemade blasters or springers, are about 527 inches in inner diameter, which means you have a fairly loose fit. So loose that some people experience that their dart will just drop through the barrel if shaken, like that. Makes for a good blowgun though. But if you want a more reliable blaster that can tip down without your dart falling out, or to increase your performance, you can actually use a tighter barrel. Now this is a 509 barrel. We also have 495 barrels. So the issue with the tighter barrel means stuff that goes inside, it's tighter. So that's good for a dart. For a springer, you want a nice tight fit. So not an air gun fit, but you want a nice tight springer fit. So it shoots harder. The issue though is it's tighter, meaning if you have a half-inch diameter ram, you can't push a dart into it. But with a chamber barrel, what we've done is we've added one end that's wider, so you can still use your default ram, like a caliber or Talon Claw, in a tighter barrel. And the best part about the barrels is the outside is the same diameter, so you can just slide it in. Now you've got a tighter barrel. Want to go to a different size barrel, maybe a shorter barrel. Again, just slides right in. And you don't have to switch out your ram or your muzzle or anything, and you're ready to go. Back to the default barrel. There you go. Drop and swap. So tighter barrel means that your darts won't fall out, and you can get higher performance because of the tightness, meaning your dart will be able to build up more pressure before it starts sliding down the barrel. And you have different lengths, so you can get extra power with your extra length. And matching the right dart to barrel fit with the right volume system of your blaster means you can get peak performance out of your system no matter what it is. And because the barrels are easy to swap out, you can tinker around and switch things out to experiment and vary your FPS without really changing a whole lot other than just your barrel. So if you have an older caliber on Talon Claw without an O-ring notch, you would want to upgrade your Ramcore, but all of our calibers and Ramcores and Talon Claws and blasters, also from Captain Slug, it's pretty standard now that they all come with an O-ring notch by default. So as long as you have an O-ring notch for your ram, you can use any barrel as long as it's chambered. Number 5. The 5th upgraded machine part that we have is what I kind of took a hybrid approach between Kuriaka's chambered barrel and Spectre's hybrid barrel, and I made a chambered hybrid brass barrel. This is what we call the Alu brass barrel. Great name, super creative. But all it is your normal 527 barrel on the outside, so you can drop it in your blaster, but it's got brass on the inside, so you got the nice smooth fit of brass, but it's chambered on one end, so you have the ram pusher capabilities that you wouldn't normally have with brass. So this is kind of the epitome of all barrels as far as I'm aware, and you can slap it in a caliber. Again, drop and swap. So you get the benefits of a brass barrel, you get the ease of switching out of an aluminum barrel, and you get the ram compatibility of an aluminum barrel as well. So this is a chambered brass aluminum hybrid barrel. It's got chambered on one end, so it slides right into your caliber, uses your default Ramcore just fine. And then you basically have a brass barrel that doesn't look like a brass barrel. So there's a lot of pros to that, such as you don't have exposed brass out the front of your blaster. And since brass is soft, it can get dinged or scratched or dented really easily. So you have the durability of aluminum with the performance of brass with the versatility of aluminum as well. So best of both worlds. That I think is the best barrel you can get. I'm currently working on projects to make it even better. So stay tuned, but that is part number 5, the brass aluminum barrel. Part number 6. The Ramcores that we have now at Frontline Foam, they have a Vanguard cutout by default. Now this is a narrow neck, like a dog bone shaped cutout of the ram. It leaves enough material that you still have support on the ram, so it won't break, but it allows you to load a magazine through it. Normally, you wouldn't be able to. Such as on this older caliber here, try to put a mag in. It kind of goes, but it's very, very tight. And depending on your mag's lips, you're gonna break your mag, and I actually think I just bent these. So without it, you can't get your mag in, so you have to prime it, insert your mag, and then to get the mag out, you have to prime it, pull the mag out. I mean, you can get it out if you want to break your mag. Wouldn't recommend that. But with the nice Vanguard cutout, all you have to do is slide in your mag. Let it out. That's all it is. But if you're in a battle, you've got one in the chamber, you're out of darts, you need to reload, having to open your briefs, take out your mag, put a new mag in. Oh wait, that means you double loaded now, so I have to fire my last shot into the dirt, then put a mag in, and then pull it forward. Instead, I can just say, I've got one in the chamber, my mag's out, load my mag. That easy. So that is a huge reload quality of life where you no longer have to be as worried about your dart count. And if you're wondering how many more darts do I have because I've got a mag well away, do I have 3 or 4 or 2? No longer have to fire my dart, open it, check it, load it, close it. I can just check it, load it. I mean, it's pretty easy. This versus this. So if you didn't know, these are some of the machine parts that we have. We've got the Vanguard Ram, we've got durability increases, we've got air seal performance increases, we have barrels of all types and sizes, and we have triggers and sears and parts and pieces. So if you have any requests for parts, feel free to let us know. We've had a couple of people reach out about wanting aluminum parts to modify their blasters with. But if you guys have any questions about the parts or any requests, feel free to reach out to us. Hopefully you guys have enough parts to choose from that you can get exactly what you want out of your platform as far as durability and performance goes. So, full disclaimer, they do take TLC. It doesn't matter how fancy your toy is, if you don't take care of it, it won't take care of you. So, be smart and do the right thing.